where we cover the best of TV from today and yesteryear. I am Brian Cassis, joined by Cristiana Araujo.
You mean Potsy?
Hey!
And Alex Araujo.
Hey, I'm Pinky Tuscadero, or whatever her name was.
You're Pinky, all right.
And you are the wonderful Fonzarelli that hosts the show. How are you, Brian?
I thought it wasn't the host.
You're
That's
not, but
point.
turn a phrase.
I don't know what's
You're
going
right, Chris. You are the host. Ponzi is always the host. Ponzi. Made you sound like the Pope. That'd be great.
You're such a mess.
Note to self. Pitch show about Pope Fonzarelli. Call it Ponzi. Make lots of money. What's going on, guys? It's been a week since our last episode, which is how this show works. So why even mention it? I mean, come on.
It feels like
if we could go 2 weeks without seeing each other, that'd be great too.
Oh,
it
man.
feels like a week because I butchered that fucking intro.
That's true.
Like 5 times.
It's like the 18th time we had to do it.
Never had an issue before.
You had a couple of them.
Let's not oversell it.
But, me, Chris, Brian, we're back because we want to talk about some of the earlier premieres in the month. We haven't gotten to them just yet, but we're going to talk about them today. But let me tell you, man, getting here was hard because me and Chris, for the last week, we've been in Ohio. And Brian was like, well, what are we going to do with the show? We can't just have no show this week. And me and Chris were like, you know what? You're right, Brian. Our listeners deserve better. So me and Chris hopped a flight, just like, big G's that we are, hopped a flight, flew back to New York City to record this episode. Right after this, we're going to go get a little dinner. Then we're going to go fly right back. Cause, you got to eat before you fly or else you feel like crap. Brian could have easily flown to Ohio, but he decided it'd be better if me and Chris both flew here.
Considering I just flew back from Nashville.
Well, that was weeks ago, Brian. Come on.
I can only go on a plane so often.
That's right. Keep up the facade. So yes, we're here. Lots of big stuff happening. But before we get into any of our reviews, let's first tell you about ChrisConkers.com. Chris.
Yes.
Tell us all the wonderful things happening on your website, ChrisConkers.com.
Well, because it was recently the end of the month, I always post end of the month stuff at the beginning of the month because, I'm late.
You want to see
like
where
that.
the month goes.
I'm always late like that.
Well, fuck it.
And, I want to, fully, cause, my birthday was at the end of the month, so I did get some new things for my birthday that made it
End
into
of the month favorites. My birthday.
No, some new things that made it into my, monthly favorites. So we've got a monthly beauty favorite, post monthly TV favorites. We've got, a lovely post on the Urban Decay Naked 1 and 2 palettes, which I got for Christmas.
Yeah.
But
a while ago. Which one is your favorite? I know.
You'll have to tune in to find out.
Tune in
to the site. Yeah. Like tune your computer.
Chris is the editor-in-chief of ChrisConkers.com and a media maven. She doesn't understand how the internet works, though. So
I understand it. I just can't explain it to you. We're on that sort of symbiotic level.
Yeah, you're like Venom.
Yeah. We are one. What else?
Beauty stuff, as you mentioned, but also some books stuff.
Some books. I don't know how much book stuff would have gone up recently. Yes. But
your memory was just wiped there for a second.
But lately I have been actually putting up a lot of book reviews, and there will be a lot to come in April. So that's definitely something to be on the lookout for. I actually have been reading some very, very I've been reading a couple of releases that just came out today. Because I get ARCs, so I get advanced reader copies, so I've been reading them. Some great stuff coming out, guys.
Yes, and a while back, we all saw your review of Man Whore.
Yeah,
and you even had
my
a giveaway
that
all of these people have missed.
I hosted my second giveaway.
Yes, but congratulations to the lucky people who won a copy of that great, great novel, Man Whore.
Yes, thank you. I'm enjoying it.
Brian, lest we forget, also has that incredible photo blog, b911b.com. Always big stuff going on there. Chances are, if you go there right now, there's a photo of New York City.
Usually is.
Yeah.
I like photographing my own backyard.
You should. It's a beautiful backyard, and particularly in the summer, because all that foliage is in full bloom. Don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Stop talking.
All right. Take it away, Chris.
Yes, particularly in the springtime when the flowers are blooming and the city's just alive with that breath of
It's mostly urine.
What have you been photographing
Hate that
lately?
urine breath.
Or what photographs have you been posting?
Some photographs of Brooklyn.
Ooh.
Very interesting.
Anything
Anything from your trip coming up?
Is what's known as a borough.
I put a lot of stuff on my trip. I'm trying to pepper it in, and I'm trying to get. I have stuff from all my old photos from other trips that I got to get in. DC, which I never did. Hawaii was a huge one. Freaking my trip of New England, which was 2010 already.
Alaska, which was years and years ago.
Yeah.
Do you tend to put them up in batches? Like, say, this week is Shark Week. Obviously, but not with sharks. But, like, this is...
Bird Week.
Tennessee Week. This is London Week.
I don't have enough followers.
B911B photo.
I don't have enough followers to command that kind of respect.
Yes.
But, so you switch it up from day to day?
Oh, yeah. Some days will be, like, crazy shit. Last week it was, I took some pictures, actually 2 weeks ago when we went out for Chris's birthday, I took pictures. So I put a bunch of those.
Don't expect to see any pictures of us, though, because we were enjoying it a little too much.
Yes. When you're in the moment, you don't really think to capture the moment.
When you're dancing to some rap as hard as Brayan and Al were.
When you're showing all of the bad boys in the place how to get down, you don't bother getting them iPhones out. No, you just do it.
Yeah. So then I took pictures then, and then I threw in a couple from my trip.
As Arthur Fonzarelli always does. Sorry.
That's it.
Had to get that in there. Very good. I've always enjoyed your photos, and everyone can enjoy them over at b911b.com, b911b photo on Instagram, and b911b22 on Twitter.
Yeah, and I got a house to build, so I'm probably gonna put up prints or for sale or something like that.
And you can steal his blueprints and then build your own model Brayan house, and then you can pretend to be Brayan.
He means prints of his photos, not blueprints to the house.
Oh, put up blueprints of the house, so I can steal your house and then become Brayan.
No.
Hey guys, what's going on? The wife Dana, bugging me a bunch. Al,
I'm sure Dana will appreciate that.
That's my pretending. Of course, that's false. It's all false.
If anything, I find that she feels that I bug her.
I can easily imagine that. Also, as I said, chrisconkers.com, no H in any of that. Corral on Instagram, Corral on Twitter. Let's get to the reviews right now, folks, because that's what you're all tuning in for, that and our sparkling repartee. A lot of shows we haven't talked about quite just yet, but we want to get to them because for one reason or another, they're very popular or they are perplexing, and they deserve some looking into. The first new show we're going to talk about here is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And we talked about this months and months back on our NBC upfronts, and we talked about it then because NBC had picked up 13 episodes of it. Right around November, NBC actually decided to sell 2 seasons of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt to Netflix. And Netflix put up the first season of it, as they often do in seasonal chunks, on March, I want to say 3rd. Very early March. So it's actually been getting a lot of positive feedback, and I thought we should take a look at it. Basically, the story of it is that this girl, Kimmy Schmidt, is rescued from an underground bunker where her and 3 other girls are being held by a preacher, telling them that they had survived the apocalypse and they have to stay underground in order to, stay alive. So basically, the story takes the place of her getting back into the world after being underground for, I believe, 15 years, and creating a new life for herself in New York City. This first episode, she does all the, obvious jokes of, oh, look at how everything has changed. There are faucets which turn on by themselves, which I'm pretty sure they had 15 years ago, but whatever.
Maybe not in Indiana?
That's true. In Indiana, their plumbing is always slower.
Well, you don't know how small a town she's from.
That's true. She also gets a roommate, a certain fellow named Titus. The actor's name is also Titus. Andromedon. The actor's name is actually Titus.
Okay.
Well, with 2 S's.
Titus.
And then in the show, it's Titus Andromedon.
It is. She gets a job working for Jane Krakowski.
Jacqueline Voorhees.
Yes, who's a very rich socialite who doesn't much care for her kids, and Kimmy becomes the nanny there. A lot of stuff happens. I thought, all in all, fairly fun show. I mean, it's very much in that 30 Rock mentality. This is created by Tina Fey, so a lot of the jokes and the overall production feels a lot like 30 Rock. And obviously NBC produced this, so there are pretty good production quality. Yes, production quality in there. I just thought that my main issue with it was, while there's a lot of comedy there and a lot of the things that are said are funny, none of the characters really feel like real people, because all they're doing is making funny quips. You know, there's very little grounding of these characters, aside from one like cute little speech by Titus towards the end of the episode. All it is people interacting with one another and throwing jokes back and forth, which is fine and is funny. But at one point, there was a time where I was like, I want to know what these actual characters are like. I don't want to just hear jokes. Chris, what do you think? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Done? I would definitely disagree with you. I think they do have very distinct personalities. I feel like they're very defined in terms of who the characters are.
Nearly cliches.
I mean, to a certain extent they are. I mean, there's really no cliche woman who was stuck in a cult for 15 years and is now, you know, free and trying to live her life. But I mean, to a certain extent, they're all extreme characters. There's no characters that just fall by the wayside. They're just, you know, background characters. Even the landlady has a certain amount of sass that makes her, you know, a real character.
I thought the landlady was probably the funniest of all of them. At least in this first episode, it should be said, I watched the first 9 episodes.
I went to watch it on Netflix and I was like, why is it on 9?
I watched the first 9 episodes, not because I loved it or anything, but just because after watching a show we're going to talk about a little bit later, I had to watch something that was at least decent.
Actually, Mike watched all 13.
Yeah, he mentioned. Yeah. I probably will. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I just thought that she was very funny. There's that line about the sweater where you shouldn't come back with that
God,
sweater.
I laughed so hard. The Banana Boys.
Yeah, just listen to it right here.
Oh, so good.
Honey, you come back here with a job, the place is yours.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, but don't wear that yellow sweater, because the Crips will think you're in the Banana Boys. It's a new gang. There weren't any good colors left. Nice to meet ya!
I thought that was very good. My main issue, though, is still that none of the characters feel like actual people. They all feel like they're playing roles, and their job is to make people laugh. It doesn't feel like any of these people are actually people.
Because
I still disagree with you.
I don't know.
They're not.
It's the same issue that 30 Rock had for a while, but the nice thing about 30 Rock was if you watch that first season, it's a lot more restrained in the form of comedy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not quite as outlandish. And by the time it got that outlandish, you would already establish these characters. Even here, they're starting at 10.
Matt Lauer was even over the top, and he's like, I'm always amazed by what women will do to not be rude.
There is a lot, like I said.
No, they're being afraid of being rude, or whatever the line is.
I don't know. I just disagree with you. I hated 30 Rock. I think...
blasphemy.
No, I think 30 Rock felt way more fake and plastic. I feel like it... Because, like, I forget his name. The character on 30 Rock who... the
Kevin?
blonde... Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely hated him because everything that came out of his mouth, it just seemed like it was so fake. And I don't feel like Kimmy is exactly like that. I feel like Kimmy, she doesn't know, she's very innocent in terms of like understanding the ways of like what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do.
Because when she was captured, she was 14.
And then, you know, the whole backpack thing and her roommate trying to take advantage of her financially. But I think she has like a strong character in terms of, she sees the kid stealing and she goes right up to him and she's like, what you're doing is wrong.
Yes, and she says the hilarious line of, I'm a stranger, danger ranger. Terrible line. Like, not to say that there isn't funny moments in this show. There's a lot of them. And I think Ellie Kemper, who plays, Kimmy Schmidt, she's also from The Office. You'll remember her as Erin. I thought she was fairly good for most of the episode and most of the series that I've seen. I just think that the issue with her is, even in that Erin character, there was that innocence to her. You know, she didn't know a lot about a lot of things, but she was always happy, and she was always happy to learn, and always took people at face value and looked on the brighter side. That's essentially the Kimmy Schmidt character, just turned up to the umpteenth degree. The issue is here, like, her innocence borders on annoyance because it's so constant and it's so ungrounded that it really loses all believability, and it starts to get annoying in that, oh my God, how can you be this ignorant?
So, let's get this dirty rent business out of the way. As you know, we owe Lillian 2 months back rent, so that's $950. Plus this upcoming month. And of course, there's a 1 month security deposit. Also, ever since you moved in, this lamp stopped working. So that's another $100.
Nice try, Titus. There's no light bulb in there.
You got me. You were so very cosmopolitan.
I think
especially with the backpack.
I think what stops it though is that she's very self-aware in terms of her ignorance and her innocence, and she doesn't hate herself for it, but at the same time she sees that it is an issue, and that she does need to learn to learn those things that she just doesn't know. I mean, she tells Titus, what her situation is, and that she really hasn't done anything, and so she is self-aware in terms of that. And what kind of set that apart for me, that whole, like, her being super innocent, and like what set it apart from her character on The Office, was the fact that at the very end they give you that she has this core of just strength and like
courage.
Yeah, I mean, when she was stuck in the bomb shelter, she still stood up for herself, even though she's stuck in a freaking bomb shelter. I mean, she has nowhere to go. She has nothing to do, but she still, showed that, hey, I know what you're doing, and I'm going to point out that you're wrong, and that,
in a way she was.
You can't break me.
Unbreakable?
Yes. She said it. Yeah. She's unbreakable.
She is that. Yeah.
She's unbreakable. But that's what I liked, because that core of strength is so different from that whole innocence that we see all the time. I mean, she's innocent, but she's not an idiot.
And it's interesting because later in the season, I should say, but obviously is a constant where not only is she very courageous and very strong, she empowers other people, and specifically other women. And I think it's a very interesting show to look at as a feminist show, or as a pro-women show, I should say. Because, it's not necessarily feminist, it supports strong depictions of women. Something which you don't see in a lot of shows now. We talked last week, as you'll remember, about the Golden Glider, and how basically all her character was somebody to seduce Cisco.
I want something gold.
And somebody who likes gold.
Yeah, and then she placates Heatwave with a sandwich.
Right. And then she always seems like somewhat reliant and somewhat subservient to her brother.
Yes.
As where here, Kimmy Schmidt, as you said, is a strong character, is a character who has that courage, has that strength, and who imparts that strength to other characters on the show.
Titus Andromedon! Ronald Wilkerson, I know you're in there!
What are you doing here, Amelia Bedelia? I told you to go back to Indiana.
I'm not going back. I'm not going to give up, and neither are you.
I'm trying to protect you.
Protect me from what? The worst thing that ever happened to me happened in my own front yard. Life beats you up, Titus. It doesn't matter if you get tooken by a cult or you've been rejected over and over again at auditions.
Some of which you pay to attend.
You can either curl up in a ball and die like we thought Cindy did that time, or you can stand up and say, we're different. We're the strong ones, and you can't break us. We are going to pay the rent, I'm going to get my job back, and I'm going to kiss a boy. And you are going to sing at the Grammys with Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson.
Bad examples, but yes.
I don't want to make people think that I hate the show because I don't. I just think that issue with,
you watched 9 episodes.
Unbelievability is problematic. I think that there's a lot of funny stuff in this scene, in these scenes. Even small things like on the news report of
was
Kimmy
it
getting out.
for the 3 white women?
It was white women found,
Hispanic women.
white women found in big text, and then underneath in smaller print is Hispanic woman also found.
Yeah.
It was great.
My favorite was when Matt Lauer goes to the Hispanic woman and goes, "You were trapped for 15 years, and you didn't learn English." He goes,
Yeah.
And she goes, "It's been enough." I was like, "Oh my god, that was hysterical." Because you said obviously that they didn't learn Spanish.
Matt Lauer is good in the show too. It should be said. He's funny for what he does. It's well written for the most part, and you get callbacks to things like the horse that she frees and trotting across later on. It's fairly well written. It's just that the issue with believability is one that isn't very much tackled in the season that I've seen, and it's one that I think should be because it prevents a good show from being a great show. I think. Brian, anything you want to touch on?
No, I thought it was funny. This is definitely, it was written with what's her name in mind for the role of Kimmy Schmidt.
Tina Fey?
Ellie Kemper. Because it was almost tailor made, and then they did a very good job of transitioning this to a Netflix show, because it had already, I believe, probably gone into production, if not been ready for...
I would think so, because they sold it in November.
So, I would imagine they probably had to remove the commercial cuts to be a Netflix show, to transition better. Because that would be weird on Netflix to break for a commercial.
Yeah. I think people will probably be used to it, though, because it's on so many other shows.
You know what? But
Netflix.
They've had so many originals now that I think you probably might...
Like Marco Polo.
Woo!
Well, there was a lot of them. I mean, they had success with
Al would like to Marco his polo.
There are a lot of funny lines. I thought Carol Kane was very, it's a really good
she
cast.
Is very good.
She's a really good cast. Titus Burgess is very good. Carol Kane's very good.
Titus, man.
My
doll furniture.
There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of good lines. Like Titus is one that seems completely ungrounded and unbelievable.
Why?
Because everything he says is a quip in one way or another.
There are people that think they can get away with that shit.
Yes. It felt unbelievable to me, but I think it's still a fairly good show.
I think you have been living in a bomb shelter and you need to go free into the world and become unbreakable.
I think I am unbreakable. Unbreakable. Did you like the auto-tune the news thing?
I loved it.
It was really good.
Became a theme song? Yeah.
Very clever.
Anything else to add, or do you want to go to ratings on this?
We can go to ratings.
All right. What'd you have this at, Chris?
I think I have this at...
You want to check your notes and make sure?
I didn't write ratings for any of these. I somehow forgot that we do that.
Yeah, it's only been 30 episodes or more that we've been doing this.
I have it at a 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Yes.
Brian?
I had a 3.5.
3.5.
It was better than average. I thought NBC made a terrible mistake in getting rid of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially considering the other garbage they've had put up.
Especially considering what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah. And they made a mistake.
Yeah. I had this at a 2.75 for the first episode. I think from what I've seen of the season, I would bump the show in total up to about a 3.25, maybe a 3.5. Maybe. Of course, there's no ratings on this because it's a Netflix show, but in key demographics, I'm just going to make some ratings up. It had a 1,400 rating with a billion share and only 300,000 viewers. Don't know how that happened. Chris already tuned out like she does with all the ratings.
Yes.
Captive audience.
Let's listen to the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt theme song for a little while we go to our next show.
Unbreakable, they alive, damn it, it's a miracle. Unbreakable, they alive, damn it, with females all strong and unbreakable, they alive, damn it, it's a miracle. Unbreakable, they alive, damn it. That's gonna be fascinating transition.
All right, it's time for our next show.
What a piece of shit.
What a piece of the theme song of our next show.
The next show.
Damn right.
I'm waiting to see which one you're talking about, but it's really true for either one. So.
No, one's worse
more
than the
so
other.
Yeah,
than the other.
definitely.
One Big Happy is probably the worst show that we've talked about for a while, for a long while.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Backstrom?
Oh no, this is
No,
worse
this
than
is
Oh,
Backstrom.
not
way
Backstrom.
worse
What's
than
the
Backstrom.
Battle Creek?
This is way worse than
Ooh.
Battle Creek.
I don't know,
Good
man.
point, Chris.
This is really bad.
They both were bad.
What else did we talk about in that episode of the Battle Creek? There was
CSI Cyber.
And Secrets
that
and
was-
Lies?
And I fucking hated that
Secrets
show.
and Lies was one of them, but I thought Secrets and Lies was way better.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But
Let's talk about One Big Happy. Chris, what is One Big Happy's central plot or give me a synopsis of it.
so
Preferably not from Wikipedia.
no, I'm
Why
not
would
doing
why
that.
would you?
No,
Why would you?
it's gonna be random, like all my synopses are.
Yes.
Essentially, a lesbian and her best friend, who is a man, decide that they're going to try to have a baby.
Talk about unbelievable, am I right?
And it seems to not be going well. And then he ends up meeting a British woman at a bar and quickly connects with her, and they sort of fall in love and end up getting married because she is being deported. And she's about to leave anyway, but the lesbian, who actually doesn't like her, brings her back for her male friend and says, be with her.
Right.
And wait, I'm not done.
the big thing.
Chris isn't done.
No, you're not.
Chris knows the big thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's your show title, by the way.
When around the same time that they get married, she finds out that she is pregnant with his baby.
With
So
his best friend.
they're now one big happy family of British lady, man's lesbian friend who's having his baby.
One Big Happy.
And one weird couple.
And one weird ass couple. Did you notice, just as a starting point, Nick Zano, who plays Luke,
Yes.
as the best friend.
Yes.
You remember him?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot
I
of
know
stuff.
he's from What I Like About You.
Yes, he played
And
Vince.
he was also from Two Broke Girls.
Yeah, I played Johnny in that. Yep. A lot of better shows than this. So yeah, this show is shockingly bad in many regards. It's produced by Ellen DeGeneres. It should be said. Her production company is behind it. And I thought that a lot of the jokes written, particularly in the opening scene at the drugstore, felt like jokes that were designed for Ellen specifically.
It was Ellen's jokes.
It was shockingly bad. I mean, there's this 30-second or maybe a minute run where Liz, the pregnant woman, is trying to buy prenatal vitamins and goes on this long, unfunny string of jokes that was shockingly bad.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my prescription prenatals. Right now I'm pre-prenatal, but I hope to be natal very soon.
All right, I picked up a bunch of pregnancy tests and these because, come on. How about this one?
No, that one says 99% accurate, more like 98. And they spelled accurate wrong, so I'm out.
How long have you and your husband been trying?
Oh, he's not my husband. Lesbian.
Big time.
He's my best friend. We're doing it together. I mean, I'm not doing it with him, because then I wouldn't be a very good lesbian.
I'm doing it with a plastic cup. And what we do is not dishwasher safe.
And I know we may not be everyone's idea of a traditional family.
What's untraditional about a lesbian and a fighter pilot having a baby?
He is not a fighter pilot. But my point is, we're still good people with solid values. Thank you.
You didn't pay for that.
Run! I knew that they were designed to make me laugh, but holy crap, I would need gallons of alcohol in me before I was to laugh at a joke like
They
that.
were funnier for someone whose wife actually took prenatal vitamins.
Really? The whole, I need prenatal vitamins, now I'm pre-prenatal, but I hope to be natal pretty soon, that made you laugh?
Not laugh, chuckle, maybe chortle.
I'm sure you like doing that. You say chuckle and then you say chortle right after.
Because it really wasn't a chuckle. It was more like
Secret smile.
Chris, am I wrong here? Did you enjoy that whole string of jokes?
I pretty much didn't like any of the jokes that Alicia
I didn't say it was a good
Cuthbert
joke, but I didn't
said.
think it was the worst.
I thought it was really bad. And the sad thing
Is
is,
it Cuthbert or Cuthbert? What do you think?
how is it
Cuthbert?
spelled?
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert.
Yeah, it's Cuthbert.
Okay.
I would say Cuthbert, actually.
That's
And
what I've been saying.
Nick Zano was in Happy Endings. He played Pete for 8 episodes.
Somebody's got his IMDb open.
Oh, no, she said I was wrong earlier.
Well, because he wasn't a big person on Happy
I didn't say
Endings.
he was a big person.
She was on Happy Endings.
Yeah, she was on every episode.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
like every
'cause-
joke in this show is a joke that's just, it must have taken 5 minutes to write, honestly. This show must have been written in a good hour 45 because you could not put a day's work into the show and have it come out this badly. There's the scene later on where Luke, I believe the guy's name is, he buys baby clothes and he shows it to Liz and he's like, "Oh, how stupid is this?" in like a really stupid cliched Italian voice. And she's like, "Oh, this is so stupid. And how dumb are these shoes? Oh, these shoes are so dumb." And that's the joke.
I want to have a dumb baby with you, but not really dumb.
Right. That's another great joke. It's just so lazily written and so dumb that anyone who gets laughter out of this, I don't want to just be friends with them.
Well,
it's just so dumb.
The writer is actually, is a writer for Ellen.
Yeah.
The regular show, her talk show.
Talk show. The jokes mostly felt like if Ellen were to work these into a 5-minute monologue, they would probably get over pretty well. But in a half-hour sitcom, having to watch these be the things that are designed to make people laugh, just stupefied me, honestly.
I feel like the funniest character is Prudence, the British woman.
Played by Kelly Brook.
I think her delivery was really good, and I don't know, I kind of just like her character.
I think, here's the thing.
She's flitty, but she's not stupid. I mean, she still has, she knows who she is, and I feel like
she's very carefree.
Luke is probably a stupider character.
The idea is that, she's carefree, as where Liz is very uptight and very controlling and very, they even talk about, when Liz finds out that she's not pregnant initially, Luke tries to cheer her up by taking her to the Container Store so she can start her project. She's that very rigid person as juxtaposed by, Prudence and being more carefree. I thought that another issue is that the girl who I guess you're supposed to hate, or the girl that Liz hates, is far nicer and far more likable than Liz.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just didn't like Liz. Like, right. I feel like Liz was just not good.
And I don't know if that's what they're going for, because why would you make your title character the character that you kind of dislike because she's the one driving away this guy's new wife?
Well, I feel like she's just supposed to be a curmudgeon.
Yeah. But really, you don't really get that until, aside from that Container Store bit, until like the last 6 or 7 minutes.
That's not true.
Really? Like what?
You get it when he first goes to the bar and meets Prudence. He's dancing with her, and she's like, "He never dances with me."
It's not that she doesn't mind him dancing. It's that she wishes, well, she doesn't wish, but she notices that he's doing something with her, but she's jealousy. It's just jealousy.
It is, but I mean,
come on.
It goes with what I'm saying. Come on, guys.
Yeah, there's also that cracker line in there where she's like, "I took him to a Black Eyed Peas concert and he did not get it started in there." Yeah. Another great gem.
I kind of laughed at that one.
Oh, fuck that.
So those are high school references. Come on.
I may never have written fuck in so many times in one review. It's just shocking. It's like,
nor have I.
Really?
No, I have no review for this.
There's also the joke that they felt the need to do a callback to, where Prudence is naked the night after her and Luke sleep together.
I mean, because naked woman. That's why.
It's hilarious. Nudity is hilarious. Ha ha ha. Funny. Also, that joke went on for too long. It's like, the joke, we get it, naked girl, but that scene is like 3 minutes long. It had to end at some point. And they felt the need to do a callback later on.
At the same time, though, I like that they weren't like, it wasn't like Austin Powers-esque where it's like, blocking. Oh, they're hiding behind things, and then, she's funnily using things.
Right,
like,
I mean,
I like that it was just her.
There.
It was her just standing there naturally, like, she doesn't notice it. And I think that's what made it better than a lot of other stupid nudity jokes.
I wouldn't really mind the joke that, "Oh my God, you're naked," and I can't believe that. But
she's hot. I mean,
she's a good looking woman. Yeah, she's also like 35. She's not that young. Not that old, but
Al, your sister's 27 now, so please
So
stop,
you're old as shit. Fuck.
cracking on it.
Jeez, where's somebody want to get her cane? Where's that,
Or a walker.
where's that temp that we have,
This
that
year,
furry little temp?
This year,
Yes.
she will be 36
Yeah.
in November. She's currently...
She's still she's good looking. I'm not gonna dispute that, but she's not all that funny, and she certainly...
She is, in fact, English.
Yeah. She's
from Kent.
She was also a model for a while. Like, even recently, like in 2010, she modeled for some fashion thing. I do my research, I'm a journalist, first and foremost. I just, honestly, after the show finished, with the very predictable finish, I thought this whole show was also quite predictable, it should be said. The idea that, oh, you meet this girl, and oh my god, she's English, and what? She's getting deported? What's gonna be the end of this episode? Of course you're gonna marry her to keep her in the country, because that's like cliche number 40408.
She used to be on Smallville.
I did not know that. It's just so predictable, and it's the weirdest mix of predictable that's also partially unbelievable. So it's like the worst of both worlds. But I cannot say any more about how much I hated the show. I was dumbfounded to try and figure out one thing positive I could say about the show. I can't.
I was very disappointed in Eliza Cuthbert. What do we say?
Cuthbert. I don't know.
Liz.
Considering she's
I think it's Alicia.
been a comedic actress and she had, a good show, although I never really watched it. I only watched a few episodes. There was no comedic timing in this. It was very strange. No banter, no back and forth, no pop or
They
whatever.
tried to do banter, but
Even the
It didn't
delivery
work.
of some of these lines. There's the line where Liz is talking about when Prudence touches her and hugs her, and she's like, "Oh, vagina on my leg," and she's like, "Oh, haven't you seen a vagina before?" And she's like, "I'm used to earning it or you porning it." And there's a clear, obvious delivery to that
That was
line.
a good line,
You yell
but-
the first part, and then you subtly whisper the second part under your voice to illustrate the shame or the difference of doing that. This, she just like blasted both lines out pretty much the same. It's like, even if a joke is good on the show, they will find a way to mess it up or ruin it.
It's bad directing, possibly too. I thought the couple, their friends, were probably the funniest part.
because he thinks he is them.
Because they...
He thinks he's black.
No.
Yeah, he's that black guy.
He thinks he's a curly-haired woman.
Yeah, he's totally a curly-haired woman.
Just because they had funny lines and the delivery was better on their part. This show sucks.
Oh, eventually we meet the guy who works at Luke's bowling alley, Marcus, or as I called him, stereotypical black token character.
Wow,
Literally,
it's a really long name.
Yeah.
Maybe we should shorten it.
it's just 3 names: stereotypical black token character.
Yeah, good job there.
He was his mother's maiden name was character, so it goes at the end of his name. Literally, the guy is here solely because you need a black character on the show, and also to give the most stereotypical black reading of a line. I'll just put it in here because I was partially offended when I heard it, just because I'm like, oh god, here comes a stereotypical black character. Betcha he says something stereotypically black. And he did.
Prudence, this is Marcus, professional bowler and our lane mechanic.
I've never met a professional athlete before. Are you quite famous?
I've been called the LeBron of bowling. The only difference is LeBron makes $100 million and drives a Bugatti. I make 20 grand and take the bus. Just lifestyle choices, really.
I haven't the faintest clue who LeBron is, but he sounds like a real show-off.
He's an incredible basketball player.
Well, to me, he is just the Marcus of basketball.
I love her. Lock it down, or somebody else will. Later, baby.
What did he say?
He was talking to Prudence about...
I can't hear the soundbite.
Well, clean out your fucking ear. You and your waxy buildup over there.
I do, and Kitty does too.
Kitty is, of course, our furry little temp. She gets us our coffee. No, wait, that's Al. Yeah, not good at all. Let's go to ratings on this, 'cause I'm sick of talking about this. Brian.
1.
Chris.
2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay. I had this at a 0.5 out of 5. Terrible.
Wow.
Hated it. Truly, truly hated it. Let's see how the ratings paid off, but I hate to spoil it for you. They're not doing too well.
Oh no, this is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt had a
1.5.
a billion share. It was a billion share. You said
a billion. Yeah, it's a pretty good rating, isn't it?
It's very
but only
good.
300,000 viewers, so I don't know what the hell's going on over there
That's all right.
over at Netflix. This, which debuted on the 17th of March on a Tuesday, it had a rating of 1.6 with a 5 share and 5.47 million viewers. Now that's not too bad. It debuted at 9:30 in the half hour, so it was up against things like the debut of the next show we're going to talk about, also a rerun of NCIS New Orleans and some other stuff.
And it was in About a Boy's old time slot.
It was. That's not too bad for a debut rating. The next week, episode 2, the overall viewership just went down a bunch.
Yeah, and this show's not surviving, so.
And they only ordered 6 episodes, so they'll probably just run the 6 and then it'll be done.
That is all.
I think the overall, it was 3.79 million viewers for the second episode, so a big drop from over 5 million.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame anybody, by the way. Good viewership in general. Not good. Man, not good. Something that was a little bit better, but evidently Chris didn't think was better at all. iZombie. Something actually.
I thought it was better.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still thought it was shit.
I thought it was better.
I didn't think it was shit.
It's nowhere near as good as Unbreakable.
This is one of the shows that I was waiting for the longest time to see, because just hearing the idea, like, I wanted to see how good this was going to be at crashing and failing. And I thought in general, not the worst.
Right.
Not the best by any measure.
Exactly how I felt.
It's all that British guy. He classed it up.
Not the worst. Brian, why don't you tell us about iZombie?
So iZombie is based on a comic book.
iZombie, not the worst.
And it's not the worst.
That'd be great for the ads they run on TV. Antenna Head says, not the worst.
Not the worst. When we did the upfronts, as I mentioned, obviously it sounds like the stupidest fucking shit you ever heard. But in this case, they've changed the comic book.
Yes.
And they changed a couple things that I didn't like, but essentially there is this, med student who excels, a very strong female character, which I was very happy to see. A little overzealous and not, willing to wait for the doctor. She thinks she knows best, and, but they balance it out by someone who's very focused, hyper-focused on what they want in life. She decides, after some coercing or discussion with her fiance, to go to a party with some friends, and insanity ensues and zombies show up on the boat.
Yes. After they all took a special drug.
Special designer
God, what was
drug.
it called?
Utopium.
That's what it was.
Utopium apparently turns you into zombies, and she was scratched. And survived. She has slowly progressed into a zombie. She needs to eat brains to satisfy a whatever
zombie desire, and also stop the progression into a zombie. If she eats brains, she doesn't become dumber, more zombie-like.
Correct. And she left her job at the hospital and went to work at the morgue, because it had easier access to brains that nobody would miss. Yes. She's working under Dr. Ravi, and he's suspected for some time that someone's been stealing said brains, and catches her and
basically finds out that she is a zombie. He also believed that she was a zombie because of the missing brains. I think he also used to work at the CDC or something.
Yeah.
He did work at the CDC.
Yeah, he was run out of the CDC for believing that zombies
existed.
Yeah, existed and would pose as a threat. So now he's trying to help her turn back into a human.
Right.
And at the same time, the wonderful little fly in the ointment, every brain that she eats, she gains the memory of the person whose brain that was.
Well, slight memories. So I will defend it in that it wasn't like the last moments that she'll say.
She gets flashes if she's in contact with things that belong to them.
No, I had no problem with that. I think it's actually a pretty good idea.
And she also picks up some innate or character traits of that
I also
person,
like that.
which is very interesting.
In this episode, she's able to speak Romanian, and she also becomes a kleptomaniac because
she has a strong desire to steal things, red things.
That's true. I actually didn't even put it together. But
additionally, there is the buddy cop.
Yes.
If there's already the buddy cop or crime-solving duo. But now you have a young detective,
Clive
Babineau. Yeah.
That AUX thing always throws me.
It's French.
Babinox. Sounds like a
Nux.
Pokemon too.
Nux.
Babinox, Babinox.
Who wants to cut his teeth and become a real detective, and he's very eager to solve this case, and is willing to accept the fact that this girl has ESP, perhaps. He doesn't know.
Right.
And it makes for an interesting crime. And the perpetrator of the crime is actually a more senior detective, because he hired some call girls for some role-playing, and one of them stole his wife's or his wedding ring.
Yeah.
And
he wants it back.
And
he goes on a killing spree in order to get it back.
Which is the, accurate amount of...
Which is what you do.
Yeah.
If somebody steals a ring, you kill a bunch of prostitutes.
Depends on who your wife is.
Depends on what kind of prostitutes they are.
Is that true?
I thought that the general idea of the show, general concept of the show is a pretty good one. It's somewhat like Pushing Daisies.
Pushing Daisies. It's like Pushing Daisies crossed with Veronica Mars.
Yeah. And
which it is from the makers of Veronica Mars.
Both good shows,
Rob Thomas.
And I think the idea and even the central character of Liv Moore, although she has a terrible name, I get the pun. I get it. Liv Moore, because she's a zombie. Very good. Ivana Brains was already taken.
Her name is Olivia.
Yes.
But
everybody calls her Liv.
But they call her Liv. They should have just left it Olivia, and you could have drawn...
Olivia Moore, because she's still living.
Also true.
Come on, man.
It would have been better, and you draw the distinction or find it.
I thought that, especially since they changed it from the original comic book of Gwen Dillon, was the character's name. Also, she was a grave digger in the comic books. Not a
Why wasn't her name like Grave Digger? Gravy Digger.
Digger with like a Y.
Yeah. Diger.
That's how you Diger. Grave Diger. Grey Diger, excuse me.
Gravy Diger. The V stands for...
Then she can be a super villain on The Flash. I love it. Yeah, I liked most of the stuff done with the central character. I thought that she was interesting. I thought she was a strong character, and unlike most buddy cop shows, which I just out and outright hate, I didn't totally hate this one because
more for the advertisements. I didn't totally hate this
Alex
one.
Raducci says, not the worst. Didn't totally hate it. Gray Diger.
Gravy Diger. Shines as a grave digger.
I didn't totally hate it because I like their chemistry with one another. And this show is very similar in tone to something like Bones or even, to a lesser extent, Castle, where there's a lot of comedic moments in the crime-solving plot, It's not solely dramatic. And you can take that or leave that. I think the better way to go... Like
Veronica Mars.
Like Veronica Mars.
You never saw Veronica Mars.
Me?
Yeah, you didn't.
I saw a couple episodes. I didn't really watch it.
You should watch it. It's really good.
I think, maybe
she's got a dog named Backup. Get it? Because he's her backup. We get it.
She should back the fuck up.
You get it.
Right on out of this house. Get out of here. Dak Shepard. His wife, who's Kristen Bell. I would have failed with that game. But yeah, I think the thing is, maybe the better way to go would have been to just treat it totally dramatic and totally serious, but it's not the worst to have this somewhat comedic interplay between the two of them.
This test girl also has a clean record. I mean, that's two girls who come up on the first page of an internet search for Seattle escorts. Not an arrest between them.
Well, maybe cops should Google more.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That whole whatever vibe. I mean, what's with that?
Why are you so concerned with my vibe?
I find her perplexing.
I'm standing in a hallway waiting to smell a call girl. This is vibe appropriate.
Did you guys notice lots of racial diversity on the show?
Yes, there's an Indian fellow. There's a white girl. There's a black gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think the girl who invites her on the boat is Asian.
Asian, yeah. There's zombies. So representing that minority.
that group.
No Latinos though.
Not yet.
Zombies over Latinos, I guess.
They're coming. The wave of Latinos will. Ow, kitty bit me.
Chris said it, not me.
Yeah.
Brian, what'd you think as a Latino?
Of what, the show or Chris?
Let's go with the show because we all know what we think of Chris.
She's fantastic.
I thought the show was okay overall.
Well said.
I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't think it was anything, considering it's a show about zombies, was anything over the top. I thought it can be enjoyable. I think they'll definitely make a full season, probably get picked up for a second. It just as long as the buddy cop or the interplay between the trio, I guess, the doctor, the detective, and the zombie, that could get a little crazy. But
I thought that there were some production choices that I didn't like the voiceovers that she is doing all the time. I thought that they were very comedic in tone. And I know I already said how comedy in this isn't the worst, but there's a difference between the comedy of the interactions between two characters and the voiceover being so lighthearted and so almost passé that it kind of belittles the show or makes light of the rather serious story of the show.
But I didn't actually mind the voiceover as much as the majority of voiceovers we heard this last season of just every show in general.
I thought it made me think that the show was like Emily Owens MD, but with zombies, which it kind of was for the first couple episodes.
Or Veronica Mars with zombies, because Veronica Mars also had voiceovers.
Yes, but those were probably better.
You just need
Emily Owens MD is like my bottom of the barrel show on CW.
Chris watched all of it.
It's on Netflix.
As much as Chris was like, this show is fucking poop. Yeah.
Chris,
she watched it all.
Chris, what do you want to add?
And wanted more.
What do you want to add on?
Because it got to a really good point at the end and you're just like, oh yeah. And then no.
You wanted to
stop.
That's like the opposite Randy Savage. Oh yeah. No.
I don't like Slim Jims.
Snap into it, Chris. Snap out of it then.
All right,
no.
I will.
What do you want to add here, Chris?
I think the acting was pretty mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like Liv's character was sort of bipolar. I mean, she kind of was all over the place for the whole episode. Like, she wanted to do it, then she didn't want to do it. And then she wanted to be with she didn't want to be with her fiancé, and then she wanted to be with him, and then she...
The show
it's
also,
like, it was so much waffling that I was just like, I don't understand you as a character.
The show also has a lot of plot conveniences, which I hate. But, I don't want to be with my ex-fiancé, but he wants me to be with him. Oh, now I want to be with him. What? He's got a date and they're playing a zombie game?
He really shouldn't be with me because, there's no, there might be a cure. Oh, but there's no guarantee, so he really shouldn't be with me. And the whole, literally, the part where she's with Babino and, she's helping him and she seems so I don't know. And then she sees, the girl falling and then she's so gung-ho about it. It was such a quick turnaround that I was just like, I don't know where her character's going. I don't know who she is. It's just all over the place. Mm-hmm. So that kind of bothered me.
Sounds like Tatiana stole something.
Look at all this crap. Clefto starts to make sense.
So much sense. Eating Tatiana's brain didn't just give me some of her memories. It gave me kleptomania and the ability to speak Romanian. Huh. So you are what you eat isn't just a bitchy thing my mother says about fat people.
I don't have it. It's not here.
Where is my frigging ring? I know you have it.
Please, my foot is slipping.
Okay.
I just saw her die. We need to find who did this and nail his ass to the wall.
I thought Babino, in terms of his acting, it was pretty bad.
I didn't pick up on anything terrible. I just thought he was mediocre.
Just okay.
Who he reminded me of when I saw him because he kind of looks like him? Bow Wow from CSI Cyber.
No.
I thought he kind of looked like Bow Wow.
I think he looks more like the guy from New Girl.
Which one?
Not Coach. The other one.
The other one? Oh.
Something with a W.
No, I think he looked more like Bow Wow.
I don't think so.
Whatever. We'll put a photo up on Twitter and we'll see.
He does have very thin eyebrows. He looks like he manicures his eyebrows.
Maybe.
Manicure is probably not the right word. He looks like he
Takes care of his eyebrows.
Cultivates them.
There's the right word. Yeah. I thought all in all, not the worst, but there's, like I said, a lot
I
of
would
plot
watch a second
conveniences.
episode.
I maybe would too. A lot of pocket.
But
Did
just,
you notice how convenient it was that, oh, we just met the police detective who's the bad guy, and then 5 minutes later we find out he's the bad guy? It's like the only reason he was in this plot was to be the bad guy. There's no like establishing and then building. And then...
Also, how convenient is it that he's the only cop who has a beard?
I know. Clearly, this
bearded pig. Oh, it's got to be that one cop
is built right next to a Norelco factory.
I know.
It's a lot of conveniences, but it's a generally good plot concept, I should say. And there's some things that'll give it legs, like her being able to take on the traits of some of the people who she eats. Because it will, maybe next week she eats the brain of a man and she starts hitting on women, like a very amorous man. Or maybe she takes and eats the brain of a Nazi. I don't know. I mean,
I was going to say break dancer, but what, you wouldn't want to see her breaking out some sick moves?
No.
Yeah.
No?
That'd be great. Also, did you see that right at the end when she like turns into like zombie mode? I thought all her like grunting and everything was just hilarious. Like,
her first of all,
yes,
her attacking the car was ridiculous.
This girl's like 80 pounds.
It's like, oh, just rip the windshield off. Like, no. And then him believing it, like, oh no. Yeah, he missed.
And I went after him.
He was right next to you, and he's a cop. He's used to shooting.
And not only that, but he believes that she went after him and was able to catch up to a car.
Then I just ran after him because,
Yeah, not great.
And he just crashed because seeing me in his rear view mirror just totally threw him off.
And then I used my zombie powers. No, she didn't do that. Like I said, I think the concept gives it some legs, but I would like to see better writing.
But
on
the ankle on one of those legs is slightly dragging because it's a zombie.
It's like good legs with a club foot. It's just that club foot being the
zombie leg,
the zombie leg, the bad writing of the show. But I think it has the possibility to improve. But I was generally positive, not extremely positive. What'd you have this at, Chris?
I don't want to be the first person.
I had this at a 2.75. Go, Chris.
I had it at 3.
3. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think I would give it a 3 as well.
Okay. Not the worst, as I said, not the best.
What do you think? 2.75s now?
We can give quarter stars.
What is this?
We can give 3/4 stars.
What is this?
If I'm slightly positive, I'll give it a 2.75. If I'm very positive, I'll give it a 3. If I think it's the greatest show ever, 3.5. Nobody gets a 5 with Al. Nobody's a 5
Unless
for Al.
it's that episode of The Flash, then...
That's true.
Woo.
Oh, man. Felicity Smoke. Did you know that there are websites or there are blogs that will catalog the outfits of characters?
Yes.
Like Felicity, and will show you where you can buy them?
Yeah.
That is a
you
great
didn't know
idea.
that?
I figured it must have existed.
Is it seen on TV or something? Is it where on TV? Something
I don't
like
remember,
that?
but I just stumbled upon it once.
Worn
when
on
I had
TV,
to,
yeah.
Find a
There's
picture
a
of Felicity.
couple. There's multiple sites.
This episode of iZombie,
I've
folks,
used them for Pretty Little Liars.
also debuted the same time, night rather, as One Big Happy. It had a 0.8 rating with a 3 share and 2.29 million viewers. Not the best. Even for a CW, not the best. But it actually beat a rerun of The New Girl, which only had a 0.6 rating. So,
did anyone else find it funny that in the beginning we see her buying bronzer, but then she's never bronze?
I didn't even notice that.
She bought 3 bottles of bronzer, or 3 or 4 bottles of bronzer, and Night of the Living Dead.
I only noticed Night of the Living Dead.
And she was always pale. So, where that bronzer going?
Maybe she puts it on.
She did put on lip gloss and then tried to pinch her cheeks.
She did.
Which I found funny.
Because
with his blush, why not just use blush?
Ladies pinch. Or use blush.
She can't pinch because the blood won't react.
I think that's a joke.
I understand that.
I think the joke is...
See, Chris knows a little thing about blush.
I think the joke is One Big Happy. But that's besides the point. Chris?
Yes?
What song would you like played under your wonderful announcing of all the ways people can contact us.
For this episode.
Yes. Last episode, of course, last week was
Fancy.
Fancy, thank you. I kept thinking Fergie. Maybe I played Fergie by accident.
Did you go to that same Black Eyed Peas concert?
I did, and I did get it started in there. When I left, because, once it started,
Take
it
on
goes
Me.
by itself. Fair enough. Wait. There it goes. Chris, if somebody wants to contact us online, how can they do that?
Well, Phil can just call us. I mean, really.
He has our number,
If they want to contact us online, they can tweet us on Twitter because that's the easiest way to get in touch with us. Our handle is @antenna_heads. If they want to listen to old episodes or new episodes, they can listen to them on our website, browcast.com. They can also listen to us on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, iTunes, and on our YouTube channel, which they can subscribe to, and they can rate us or give us a thumbs up in all of those places. And they should do so.
All good places for a thumbs up.
Ooh.
There's your show title.
Oh.
On that disgusting note, it's time to end the show.
Thank you, Al, and thank you, Christina. This
You're
is
welcome.
Brian saying thank you for listening to episode 86 of Antenna.